Welcome back to Super Smash Lesbians, the show that jumps around in time. I'm AJ, and today I want to talk about one of the most core aspects of the storyline, or parody series, the rivalry between Rosalina Mario and Samus Aran. When most Astro Souls think about Super Smash Lesbians, the first thing that comes to mind is always these two. The Scorpion and Sub-Zero, the Jin and Kazuya, the Sol and Kai, the Kyo and Iori, the Ryu and Ken of Smash. Okay, well maybe not that one, but you get what I mean. But why? What made these two members of the production so bitter against one another, and pretty much being two of the main attractions for all future events? Well, to answer that, this video will be the history of their feud as well as their ups and downs. Now, in order to begin this history lesson, we must go back in time to the year 2015, when Super Smash Crew was the hottest parody series in Shareverse. Hello everyone, welcome to the first episode of the Super Smash Crew podcast. Oh god, that used to be me? The first time I talked about Super Smash Crew was almost a year ago, and good lord, the production was ass! This was back when I used a rental microphone, recording in my sister's designer room, and I didn't even write scripts! But yes, the first episode of this video series discussed the success of 2014's parody series, Super Smash Crew. Nami was the hottest member of the show since she was waiting for the Dressrosa arc to enter her universe. The show merged Eastern and Western Astro Souls together playing Nintendo roles, beating the shit out of each other. And I was racking in the dough, riding on the success of Smash 4, which had just released, and what Crew was based on. But all that changed in mid-2015, when the Smash Bros fandom was about to explode. Competitive Smash really started to become mainstream, sales for amiibos skyrocketing. Plus the continuous updates and new characters for the game, many people were hopping on the hype train. It was the only game that mattered on the Wii U. Trust me, I was there and I saw it all go down. And I noticed right away that one of the new characters was pretty much the face of Smash 4. And coincidentally, our antagonist of the story, Rosalina Mario. Prior to Smash, Rosalina was relatively new to Nintendo. Her only appearance was in Mario Galaxy and in a post-game cameo at the end of 2. But she was slowly climbing the ranks in rapid succession, appearing in Mario Kart's Wii, 7, DX, and 8, Mario Party Island Tour, Mario Golf World Tour, a secret post-game character in Mario 3D World. She was making a name for herself in under 7 years. So when it came time for picking characters for Smash 4, Rosalina was a no-brainer choice for a newcomer, appearing on the cover for both versions of the game. And from there, Rosalina made sure to assert her dominance, revealing her true colors outside of the game. In short, Rosalina was a power-hungry cunt, and since her introduction to Nintendo, she's been trying to find a way to achieve God status, a title for when a Astro Soul becomes part of normal Soul's actions and decisions of the company. Anyway, the best possible way of getting this status, according to Rosalina, is pretty simple. Beating the shit out of your coworkers to prove that you are the strongest among them all. It's unknown why Rosalina's motivations were like this. Maybe it was because she was in space for so long and she wanted to be dominant on Earth, but nobody really knows. She even formed a posse called Smash 4, named after the game these female newcomers were for, Wii Fit Trainer, Palutena, and Lucina. She also eliminated any chance for Ice Climbers to show up in Smash 4, and by November of 2014, Rosalina became top tier in Smash 4. However, she was not yet ready to achieve God status. She had one more co-worker to take care of. And every good antagonist needs an equally good protagonist. This leads us into the sad, sad story of the Metroid franchise. Back in the day, Metroid stood high at Nintendo, alongside Mario and Zelda. They were the big three, and they called themselves the Nintendo Trio. And I know what you're probably wondering, what about Pokemon?
Wow!
Honestly, Pokemon is so big that they've transcended above Nintendo's care. They have their own company, building, and separate directs dedicated to the franchise. No other Nintendo series is like that. Anyway, these three series revolutionized the genres of platforming, adventure, and exploration respectively. You could guarantee an installment from these three with every Nintendo console, and they would be certified bangers. And even if Metroid didn't get a game on the Nintendo 64, that statement was later rectified with 2 games on the GameCube and Game Boy Advance each in the span of 2 years. Besides, Samus is one of the original 8 fighters for Smash 4, so she had her representation on the console, and the Metroid franchise stayed strong throughout the 2000s. But everything changed in 2010, with the release of Metroid Other M. I understand this game has its defenders, but I have a strong distaste for the game. From the linear and forced gameplay, to the lack of development for any of the new characters.
Remember me?
You're not even in the manga! To the contrived and unoriginal story that you can't skip any of the cutscenes for, to barely addressing the chozos for that matter, to the lack of variety with controls on one of the most accessible gaming consoles in history, to, of course, the ultimate character assassination of Samus Aran and the abusive relationship she has with Adam Malkovich. This might be one of the worst video games I've played, no exaggeration. And because there was a gigantic negative reception to the game, and the fact that Nintendo poured so much money into its production, they concluded that nobody cares about Metroid anymore. And thus, they began to neglect the series throughout the 2010s, which only hurt the franchise and the fans since 2011 was the 25th year anniversary for both Zelda and Metroid. What did Zelda get for their anniversary? And what did Metroid get?
Nothing!
And it only got worse as the years went on, with the trollish announcement of Federation Force in 2015 and released in 2016, all the while Nintendo took down a fan-made Metroid 2 remake during the franchise's 30-year anniversary. And what did Zelda get for their 30-year anniversary? Oh, you know, an HD re-release of Twilight Princess and, oh yeah, a brand new Zelda game as a launch title for Nintendo's brand new console the following year. This was truly rock bottom for Metroid, and as it stayed there, many other Nintendo series began coming out of the wetworks. Both Animal Crossing and Fire Emblem got a massive revival on the 3DS in 2013. New Nintendo IPs were becoming instant hits, such as Xenoblade, Splatoon, and ARMS. Eventually, Metroid was anything but one of the big three. And while all of this was happening, Rosalina became #1 with everything, pretty much being Nintendo's new space girl to rely on. And she intentionally saved Samus last on her hit list to achieve God status. The remaining dignity Samus held onto was, ironically enough, her place in Smash Brothers. Now, in Shareverse, Samus has been on the run from the Galactic Federation since her induction to Nintendo in 1986. Time travel, of course. And in her spare time, she decided to make a human clone of the baby Metroid that she cared about. She called him Max in order to feel like she had a family, something to hold on for. But Smash really was the place where Samus felt welcome, even if there were a lot of perverts there. So, when she found out that Rosalina would potentially kill her to take her spot as Nintendo's Space Girl, she didn't back down. She wouldn't become irrelevant like Fox or Falcon, characters that people only remember from Smash and not from their original games. And Rosalina knew one way or another she would have to fight Samus. Rosalina initially thought of Samus as an old, tired woman that wouldn't be a problem to kill.
Future's now, old man.
But that perception changed when Samus won the first ever Smash 4 tournament, the Invitational Tournament at E3 2014. Not only that, she was built well as having both Metroid and Chozo DNA running through her bloodstream. However, thanks to close contacts from the group Smash 4 and to her close reception with Nintendo, Rosalina had the ultimate plan of killing Samus and getting the God status in one day. The date was October 2nd, 2015. And here's how it was going to go down. So in the morning, Rosalina would use her space and time powers to convert Lucina permanently into her adult self. In Shareverse, Fire Emblem Awakening has Robin as a present first iteration unit, and he's married to Tarja. Lucina is just a child to Crumb and Sumia. She's only an adult for Smash related stuff. The plan was to have adult Lucina marry Robin, therefore making Morgan their daughter, and Noreen would have been Henry's daughter since he would marry Tarja instead, resulting in Olivia to never have any go with Henry, ceasing his existence. Right off the bat, Rosalina was planning to fuck up 3, maybe 4 marriages in one move. Then she would have the Smash 4 group execute anyone in their way and eventually kill Samus on her own, resulting in her to have complete power by the end of the day. And to her credit, she was damn near close to her end goal. However, the plan started behind schedule, and by then, Samus had a feeling Rosalina would ruin Lucina's life. When she tried to warn her, it was too late. Lucina was about to S-rank Robin. And then something inside her snapped. Now because Samus has Metroid DNA inside of her, she pretty much has most of their abilities, but she kept them suppressed in fear of hurting anyone. But this was the breaking point as she transformed into her Metroid form. Green hair, red eyes, spiked teeth coming out of the side of her arm, and fully enraged. She found the Smash 4 group alongside Peach, Zelda, and Crumb's help, and when Rosalina saw her, she was scared shitless. In desperation, she preemptively requested God status. In turn, Rosalina became a monstrous version of herself, dubbing it Nightmare Rosalina. The two began to battle hard as Zelda and Peach fought Palutena and Leaf Trainer, while Chrom tried to snap Lucina out of Rosalina's control. As the fight continued, Samus evolved through the different stages of a Metroid, Alpha, Gamma, Zeta, and Omega, progressively losing more of her human control of herself. But because she was the only female Metroid in existence, she finally evolved into the Queen stage, now adopting a hooked tail, atomic breath, and an uncontrollable conscience, making her a complete monster. Rosalina's nightmare form was also falling out of her grasp, and she was about to die. But Samus, in the most random act of mercy, spared Rosalina's life, as she lifted the curse off of Lucina and everyone in Awakening went back to normal. But subconsciously, both of them knew this was the beginning of their rivalry, and their respective monster forms needed to be controllable by the time their rematch came around. At this point in Super Smash Crew, everybody, including both the audience and cast members, were blown away from this fight. They've never seen anything like this before, as many viewers began to jump ship to Smash 4 to see more fights from Samus and Rosalina. And even before that, you had players like Dububs and Nairo destroying competitive Smash with these characters. And there was no way in hell Super Smash Crew could ever imitate that fight. Robin would mutilate Asuka if we even tried. Add on top of the fact that the Just Rosa arc was coming to a close, so Super Smash Crew was going to lose its top player. So by mid-November of 2015, I cancelled all Super Smash Crew in-house production. The remaining episodes would shamelessly air the tension and rematch of Nintendo's Space Girls. It was truly the only thing that mattered for Smash. See what I did there? I'm funny, right? Now, Rosalina's first plan to kill Samus was diabolic, but let me tell you, it only gets worse from here. Her hatred didn't end with just killing Samus, no. She wanted her erased from existence, resulting in her next plan. Going back to late 2015, the Smash 4 hype train was off the rails, mainly because it was the first game in the series to have downloadable content. Not only that, but the final character would be voted by the fans in a Smash Fighter ballot. This was the first time players had a say for the future, and everybody began to request their favorite characters to be playable. Sure, you had shitpost characters like Goku, Shrek, and Corey Baxter, but many people were excited to see who got in. I even voted myself. And no, I didn't vote for Rex. Xenoblade 2 wasn't a thing yet. I actually voted for Daisy, and sure enough, she did get in the next game. Take that, Waluigi fans, then Geno fans. And because the ballot was accessible to everyone, that also included current Smash employees. This time, Rosalina's scheme was to get Shantae in Smash, a highly requested character that would complete the illustrious Smash 5 group. This would destroy Samus, somehow, with the appearance of another Metroidvania representative, and Rosalina could officially take the God status. However, a counterattack was made. The Nintendo trio all voted to have Bayonetta be the next fighter as a way to one-up Rosalina's plan, and on the November 12th Nintendo Direct, everybody was ready to see who the ballot fighter was. Cloud! Nobody expected him! Actually, he wasn't the ballot fighter. Nintendo would save that surprise in the final presentation on December 15th. So, at the beginning of this presentation, they revealed the next fighter. A Fire Emblem character. From a game that wasn't even out in America yet. And he wasn't the ballot fighter either! Eventually, at the halfway mark of the presentation, the final character was revealed, this time being the ballot fighter. And when we heard...
Oh, another angel. Must have missed one.
We knew we won. Rosalina was shocked, angry, depressed, and quite possibly shitting on the floor, because nobody could have all those emotions at once without defecating themselves. Her ultimate plan of getting rid of Samus was destroyed, even though that was kind of a stupid plan to begin with. But she wasn't done just yet. She still wanted to have one more rematch against Samus the following day. December 16th, the final episode of Super Smash Crew, and quite possibly one of the best episodes of the show. The first half started with some classic Smash matches. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, sometime in October, Smash 4 put a curse on Mega Man where he would have to win one match in order to have the Nintendo trio continue their fight with the group. This actually worked in favor for both groups, since it gave Samus and Rosalina more time to control their transformations. Hell, in between the two fights they had, Rosalina was able to stagger some of the strongest Astro Souls in Shareverse, and Samus became the first Astro Soul to kill the T-3000 without using any magnets to weaken him. Those were some mighty feats, but who was gonna be the last one on top? Going back to the 16th, the curse was broken since Rock won a team battle alongside Cloud. The second half of the episode went live at Rockefeller Center, Manhattan, as Smash 4 and the Nintendo Trio had their final battle. But because the Nintendo Trio was a trio and Smash 4 wasn't, Rock was the fourth member to help out the trio since they have an extensive history together. Mario and Link were able to beat Palutena and Wii Fit Trainer respectively, killing them even. But Rock held back a little since if he killed Lucina, she would permanently be in her adult form when she got revived. But sacrifices needed to be made and he killed her. All that was left was the fight between Samus and Rosalina. And their rematch was cosmic. See what I did there? Again, the fight ended with a beam struggle in space, but ultimately Samus was able to take down Rosalina, watching her fall back to Earth's atmosphere into the Manhattan pavement. Miraculously, she lived, but she had no energy to get back up. Samus stared down at her and, learning from her past mistakes, killed Rosalina with her arm cannon. After the fight, the Nintendo Trio and friends all celebrated at a restaurant nearby, and they even had a surprise guest since Tai and Agumon won their death battle the night before. And this is where the story should end, but it doesn't. Now we come to the emotional drama of the video, because while Rosalina was planning to kill Samus, she had a backup plan. Rather than fighting her way into power, she would marry herself into it. Because you see, in mid-2015, Rosalina's mental state altered a bit, now having some cognition to that of a teenage girl, which would have been her age if she stayed on Earth. And she found the perfect target for a mate. Me. Like I said, I was there when all this went down, and my initial reaction of Rosalina using me for her personal game? Hell no! Not after seeing her attempt to ruin other people's marriages, and Samus always defended me whenever Rosalina picked on me while I was busy with school. Plus, that also counts as rape since I didn't consent to anything she said, and you might think it's wrong that she would marry a 15-year-old, but because it was AJ's astro self and not his normal half, it apparently was fine. Apparently. So, with that said, you might be expecting that I was in bliss when I heard the news Rosalina died. Ding dong, the witch is dead. But it wasn't that simple. I spent the night alone in my house, contemplating on what just happened. Because even though she inflicted the Mega Man curse, even though she wanted to kill Samus, even though she didn't care for me that much as a person, I missed her. And since she could be revived at any moment, she would go right back to her tricks hitting on me. But even then, she did have some sort of personal attachment to me. The sense of being isolated from others, the way other people treat you, trying to fight back when you know it's a losing battle. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Because one thing we did have in common was we both hated Elsa. So, I guess that was something we could relate to? Anyway, I had the greatest mindset for when it came to a New Year's resolution. The first day Rosalina was revived on January 6, 2016, I walked up to her and I said, "You want to get married? Fine by me, let's go, right now." That's right, I initially married her out of pure spite. We had a makeshift wedding that night, and the ceremony only lasted an hour. 1 week later, the first Super Smash Lesbians event was held, and in order to prevent the same fate as Super Smash Crew, I made sure the group Smash 4 was not invited. And I had Samus pilot the mech Master Chef, which served as the parody series equivalent to Master Hand. But Rosalina just couldn't help it, as the group invaded the event, and she was able to beat Master Chef, being the first winner of Super Smash Lesbians. When it came time for Super Smash Lesbians Melee 2 months later, I made sure to keep Rosalina occupied as much as I could that night, and I took her out on our 2-month anniversary. While it would have been nice if I got to know the newcomers a bit better that night, without Rosalina guiding them, Wii Fit Trainer, Palutena, and Lucina were helpless during the event. Overall, the Melee event was a success. And with the decrease in both tension between Samus and Rosalina, and overall interest, especially with the top-tier dominance of Cloud and Bayonetta in Smash 4, you think things would finally be looking up. But now we come to the final act of this story. Like I said previously, Metroid was at a rock-bottom state, even to the point where Nintendo acknowledged the massive upset Federation Force gave to the fans. And while Rosalina should have left the franchise alone, she just couldn't help herself. It was in a vulnerable state. One bad move and Metroid would never see the light of day again. What better way to do so than to rally up other villains from those games? Sure, you had the Smash 4 group, but they needed to get serious with their final scheme. Hence, they recruited from a secret seal of Metroid Other M's game box with the Preba guide. Yeah. Anyway, it was Mother Brain, who was in the MB body. Just roll with it. Basically, she was there because she fought Samus in 2011, and she was locked up there for her punishment. In Hell's Prison, they got a hold of Dark Samus, Weevil from Metroid Prime Hunters, who was actually a female child soldier thanks to the one-shot comic, and a demoness based off of the Super Nintendo, who once had a battle with Samus in 1997. I don't know what that means either. Together, the 8 of them formed the Anti-Samus Aran Alliance. Yeah, it's got a pretty obvious title. Anyway, their plan was in order to get rid of Samus, they had to destroy her internally, breaking her reasoning to live. To do this, they had to ruin her life. Now, even though her faith with the Metroid series was long gone, she still had Smash to hold on to. That was the only thing besides Max to consider family for her, and because Mother Brain can telepathically communicate with Metroids, she was able to hack into Max's mind and created a projected aura of an Omega Metroid around him, so he wasn't in control anymore. This broke Samus in a way no other scheme could have. Her only thing that kept her sanity was gone. Eventually, she would lose control of her Metroid forms, making her a massive threat to many. In order to stop this, she would have to get rid of the problem herself. And on May 29th, Samus entered her shuttle and ended her own life. As soon as I got the news, I went numb. And I told Rosalina she better get the fuck out of my house. Unfortunately, I would have to wait about a week in order to sign the divorce papers, since our marriage wasn't over 6 months by that point. I was alone, isolated, almost in the same position Samus and the Metroid franchise was in. The fact that Rosalina achieved God status sometime in April that year meant that she had complete control on whatever she wanted to do. Nothing was getting better. It was a losing battle. And it seemed that something you loved will be erased from this world, and there's nobody that can actually help you to actually understand the shit that you're fucking going through. When I was writing this story arc, I was only 16 in high school, and without naming any names, it was really the lowest point of my life. I didn't have any friends, and what little that I did have, I always saw them in the lunchroom or after school. I never had a proper class with them. In a nutshell, I went to an all-boy Catholic school, which primarily focused on sports. And because I'm not the athletic type, I got bullied because I was different. And even though I tried to be a part of other athletic activities, I was always the weakest member of my team. And sure, there were other activities outside of sports, like theater, speech and debate, and even the gaming club. But even then, I was always the odd one out. There were days where I literally brought my 3DS with me in the Fire Emblem Special Edition case, and I just played during class. And because of that, I got bullied a lot, made fun of. They were always looking over my shoulder, eavesdropping what I was doing on my phone, what I was playing on my 3DS, because they wanted to make fun of me. And they wanted to see me overreact and get in trouble and maybe get a detention. Hell, there were days where people eavesdropped and looked at my locker combination code, and the bastards flipped the lock multiple times. Even when I got multiple lockers with different combination codes, they still wouldn't stop. There were also other days where I went downstairs in the cafeteria to go to the vending machine, and a group of fucking brats decided to pick up my school bag and put it somewhere else in the cafeteria. One day, I just had enough and I screamed at them, silencing the entire cafeteria. And the entire time, I was just in tears. I couldn't take it anymore. But the biggest hate that I got so much in school was the rumor. Very early in my sophomore year, there was a rumor about me masturbating in the bathroom. Which, by the way, assholes, no I wasn't. I was either on my phone or playing Xenoblade on my 3DS. I wasn't jerking off. In fact, I was trying to get away from you fuckers, but you just wouldn't stop. In fact, still to this day, I get nightmares over being in school or seeing the people that bullied me and because it's a dream, I can do whatever the hell I want. I try to get up, I try to fight back, but in the end, what difference does it make? It still happened in the past, I can't change that, and I still got bullied. In fact, after my sophomore year, my parents really wanted me to transfer out, or even if I could, transfer during my sophomore year, but I just kept telling them that it's gonna get better, which, spoiler alert, it didn't. But that really was my mindset when I was writing the story arc. That's why it got a little too depressing, because I just wanted to bring up what I was going through and just how I couldn't take it anymore. That's the reason why I always want my 3DS and why I decided to make Rosalina my main, because it was pretty much comfort food to me. Even if I have a really shitty day, I could always go back home and just either play on my 3DS or get better at meeting Rosalina. And in a way, that's the reason why she was just so comforting to me. And yes, I do know the difference between reality and fiction. I'm not some sort of sicko. Just wanted to let you know. Even if I don't have the best production effort, even though my entire set is just my closet, even though I use this fucking microphone, even though I tried to use a lavalier, which I tried doing before, but it just couldn't work because the audio gains were just really fucked up, I still have a devotion. I still want to tell my stories to all of you people. So I just want to thank everybody that has been watching these videos, subscribing, and even though there are people that still make fun of me to this day, mainly because of these videos, hey, guess what? I'm still doing this for fun. I'm enjoying myself. I'm honestly doing a lot better than what I was doing in the past 5 years when I was in high school. So you know what? Thank you all, and I'm just glad that I'm still the same me. But this has gone on for way too long. We gotta get back to the story, and because this is Shareverse, we're definitely going to have a happy ending. So let's see how Samus is going to get out of this one. And let's see if Rosalina could change her evil ways. So, throughout the week of Samus's absence, Mother Brain and her goons were planning on the final step. Erasing Metroid from Nintendo canon. And with Rosalina already having god status, that task was more than likely possible. Rosalina was not into it. She began to regret the decisions that she made and wondering if she was truly in the right. The execution date for the Metroid franchise was June 3rd. The members of the anti-Samus Aran Alliance were all ready to watch the countless fans be wiped away. And the remaining members of the Nintendo trio and people that were close to Samus, they all went silent, not knowing the fate of their former ally and her franchise. But something happened in Hell's Prison. A prisoner escaped and got revived, saying that she had unfinished business. That's right. Samus returned. Again, coming back with a newfound purpose. Even though she lost everything, she still had the power of friendship. Okay, maybe that part is a bit too corny. They got to Manhattan, and the Nintendo trio and friends fought the Alliance. Their big priority was to break the seal of Max's aura without killing him. However, Samus's target was not Rosalina, but Mother Brain. Speaking of which, Rosalina was completely absent during the final battle. Not even Smash 4 knew where she went. Anyway, their fight was grand. Two of the Chozo's most prized creations duking it out over a battle between good and evil. Mother Brain activated her monster form and gave Samus augmented projections of the other final bosses in the series. Eventually, Samus's rage hit the boiling point, and she was able to take down Mother Brain, reverting her to her humanoid android form. Though she had one more trick up her sleeve. She summoned Alvis. Wait, Alvis? Ah, shit, I quickly gotta go over Alvis's deal in Shareverse. God, this video's too long. Alright, so Klaus from Xenoblade is from an alternate universe where Samus's parents had a boy instead of a girl, which theoretically makes Alvis, Numa, and Malos Samus's computer nephews and niece, or children. Also, Alvis used to be Sans before being in the Trinity processor, but that's a whole other story I don't have the time for. Earlier in 2016, his AI regressed into that of a baby, because fuck you, and Mother Brain used her computer hacking skills to revert his AI back to normal. At this point, Mother Brain revealed that Rosalina taught her how to emulate her nightmare form, creating Final Mother Brain. All hope seemed lost. The others couldn't compete with Alvis's reality-breaking Aegis powers, and Mother Brain had Samus on the ropes. She wasn't strong enough to retain her queen form for that long. Until some help arrived. Rosalina showed up, being able to disable Alvis's enhanced AI, reverting him back to a baby again. Rosalina had turned her back on Mother Brain, stating that even though she has done some evil shit in the past, but she would never stoop down to Mother Brain's level. And with Samus gone, there was nothing Rosalina could entertain herself with. In other words, the two were a dichotomy, a dyad of the Force, but one that actually made sense unlike some other bullshit. The plan was to send Mother Brain back into her imprisonment in the Other M guidebook. Rosalina was able to weaken her enough just to have Samus suck her back in the chains. But that wasn't enough. Since Mother Brain had more power than before, she was able to break the chains. The message was clear. They needed to kill her in order to stop her. While Samus charged up her arm cannon to the Hyper Beam's max value, Rosalina continued to wail on Mother Brain, a symbolic way of fighting her internal demons of the woman that she once was. Over on Samus's end, everybody that helped her get to this point all joined in to aim the arm cannon directly at Mother Brain. When the signal was made, Rosalina threw Mother Brain into the beam as she fired her own beam, sandwiching the monster with 2 energy beams disintegrating her. In the end, Rosalina staggered to the others, giving them a thumbs up, beginning her redemption arc that would last over a year. Afterwards, everybody returned to the recovery center, healing their wounds, and the story officially concludes with Samus comforting a sleeping Max in her arms. Alright, so I know this is the longest video I've made in this format, but I want to wrap things up as best as I can. So, the remaining members of Smash 4 were eventually revived, and they also apologized for their actions. Lucina would be able to revert back into her original age as well. The divorce papers? I never filled them since Rosalina had a change of heart and we're still together. And Shareverse, of course. Rosalina and Samus' rivalry cooled down since, and it's mostly playful banter these days. As for me in high school, in 2017 I transferred into a new school, and it was the greatest year and a half of my school life. Speaking of things getting better in 2017, E3 of that year confirmed Metroid Prime 4 being in development. Not only that, but the announcement and release of an official Metroid 2 remake was made the same year. And at the VGAs, Samus Returns, Mario Odyssey, and Breath of the Wild all won an award. The Nintendo Trio was back. Both Ridley and Dark Samus became playable in Smash Ultimate the following year. But the biggest Metroid news since 2016, without a doubt, was 2021's E3 Direct, which announced Metroid 5, the fabled Metroid Dread, a game that has been rumored and cancelled for over 10 years. Finally, Metroid gets the brighter side of the stick to carry for their anniversary. And if you're wondering what Zelda got for their 35th year anniversary, a Game & Watch that I doubt no one will buy, DLC for Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, a game nobody plays, and an HD remaster of Skyward Sword that costs full price for a 10-year-old game where all of the new features is locked behind an amiibo you have to pay more money for. It may not be a lot compared to Zelda's anniversary, but having Dread completely makes up for it. One last thing to note. Shortly after Dread's reveal, the top 3 games on the Wii U's eShop was updated, and they were Metroid Zero Mission, Metroid Fusion, and Metroid Prime Trilogy. If that's not what winning looks like, I don't know what does. And that is the entirety of Samus and Rosalina's rivalry. This video is so jam-packed with content that I hope it does decently well compared to other videos. This is going to be my final Super Smash Lesbians video I'm going to do for a while. I'll discuss more on that in an upcoming update video. Please subscribe to check that video out and future videos to come. With that, I'm AJ, and I'll see you all in the next one.